Welcome to the channel. It's New Year's Day 2023, so we have a new year, new projects, new wants and hopes and dreams, and 2022 is history now. And because it's history, I decided I would do the same thing I did last year, and that was show off what I completed in 2022. Completed by, as in like what I painted in 2022. A lot of these projects are completed, but a lot of them are in various states of I have another model or two, or I bought a new expansion pack or something coming up. So nothing is really ever truly completed, especially in my house, but I've done as best I could for a year. In fact, compared to the video I did last year at this time, I've done actually more. It may not seem like I've done more now that I'm looking at them all, but model count I think it's less, but figures I think there's more bigger figures, more 28mm scale figures versus last year there was a lot of 6mm stuff and 8mm stuff, and I find painting 6 and 8mm stuff easier than 28. In fact, I don't particularly think I'm very good painting 28mm figures. And when you see what I'm going to show you, I don't know. I painted an awful lot of them this year, so maybe I've gotten better. Before I get started, though, I just want you see my hand here. I've got my camera zoomed in all the way onto my Comstar units for BattleTech. Before I get started and show you what I painted, which is, there's a lot. I would like to say that I paint, the speed at how I paint and the amount of stuff that I paint isn't because I'm trying to outdo myself from the previous week, or I've got some sense of like I need to get stuff done. I found that it's mainly a way of dealing with stress. And 2022, like 2021, was a high stress year for me. I keep saying, like, especially in 2021 and 2020, like, God, it's been the most stressful year of my life so far, but I feel like I'm in that part of a video game where the fun part of the game is over, the discovery of the game is over, and by the game I mean life. The fun part of life is over, and now I'm in the grind. No longer are you leveling up rapidly every day, every week. Now it's like long periods of time between leveling up. And I think that's probably true for most of us. But I paint miniatures mainly to forget what's going on around me. You guys probably already know the news is a joke. There's no point even looking at the news. The economy is in the pits. It's just a mess. And painting has been a way for me of coping and dealing with it. I do suffer from PTSD from a childhood. It doesn't really matter. And that has come back to bite me in the butt in my 40s. I don't know why. I'm not thinking about it very often, but it's somehow things that you put off in your younger years dealing with, they come back like a kind of like a ticking time bomb. And for some reason, 2022 was the year that it really all came crashing down. So I wore out like 15 paintbrushes, and I mean wore out. I don't mean like the bristles are a little loose. No. I mean the bristles are gone, and I will use the same paintbrush even if it's got one bristle until that bristle is gone, because I go through so many. So I'm really excited to open my brand new paintbrush set that I bought 2 years ago. I'm really excited to open that and have a new fresh paintbrush for the first time to start off 2023. But yeah, I paint a lot. And when I show you what I'm about to show you, don't be impressed. I'm not doing it to show you that look what I got done. I actually spent the entire day yesterday, the 31st of December, bringing all the boxes out and unpacking everything and laying it out, and then counting the figures and figuring out how many of which I got. And when it was all said and done and the table was full, and I mean full, you'll see, I wasn't impressed. I was actually sick to my stomach, because that is how much, that tells me the level of stress that I was under last year is by how many figures I painted. And, there's also a financial cost to this stuff as well. Now, me and my wife, we work full time. We're not exactly hurting for money, but we're essentially broke all the time, like most people. We have a mortgage, and the mortgage rates are going through the roof, and the heating bills are going through the roof, and the grocery bills are going through the roof. So I leaned a lot on my 3D printer, but not as much as now that I see everything laid out in front of me, not really as much as I should have. I should have 3D printed a lot more instead of buying as much. But anyway, don't be impressed. It's a stress mechanism, so I actually feel quite disgusted by what I'm about to show you. But I'm just going to pause the video here, and I'm going to zoom out a bit. Okay, one sec. Okay, now the lighting is pretty bad today. It's overcast. I'm in a very dull basement. I've got as many lights on as I can, but this is the best I can do. But yeah, we're starting off here. Now this is a table tennis table. You can see my 6x4 mat there, kind of like... Yeah. That is all the miniatures I painted in 2023. Some big ones, like the Super Heavy there. Lots of Horus Heresy figures, 28mm. There's some Drop Fleet. Babylon 5 miniatures there. Drop Fleet more. There's Adeptus Titanicus. There's all my Star Trek and Star Wars miniatures I painted. My Adeptus Titanicus, a Mechanicum army for 30k. My Aeronef stuff right there. There's a bit of Battletech. There's my Battlestar Galactica stuff that you've seen in the last update. There's those 2mm Romans or 3mm Romans. There's some bolt-action tanks. There's a bunch of terrain there. And then there's my War of the Roses project. My 7 Years War project right there, all the way along there. My World War I stuff. My modern stuff. The Japanese Kickstarter for Broadside. There's a lot. I will zoom in and I'll show you a little bit more in a second. And I think last year the video only covered the mat, like the 6x4 mat. This year it covers the edge of the table and the entirety. I mean, you can see where I started putting the miniatures out all nice and neat, and there's a little bit of space between each one. Like, look how much space there. This was where I had my book, so that's why there's a bit of room there. And I started going that way, spacing them out, go that way, and then I started realizing around here that I don't have enough room. And then this half of the table, I just crammed stuff in. It was just crammed in there. But yeah, sorry for the shaky camera being handheld right now. But all in all, I counted every single one. There are 3,285 miniatures painted, of which 842 of them are 28mm, 1,040 are 8mm or 6mm. There is 1,050 spaceships. Not sure why I went on a spaceship binge last year, but there's 1,050 spaceships. There's 170 pieces of terrain. A lot of that's not actually on the table because it's trees and roads and stuff. And there's 138 naval ships. Now, out of all these 3,300 essentially miniatures, there's only 14 fantasy figures in the entire thing, and that's my Blood Bowl team. But out of the rest, 40% of everything I painted last year was historicals, and 60% was sci-fi. And mainly that was spaceships. There was 1,323 historical figures painted, and 1,948 sci-fi figures. And if you do it by day, it's essentially 9 models a day for 365 days in the year. So yeah, it's a lot, but I will pause the video again and I'll go right to left and I'll show you what I did. Okay, I'm really stressed for room here, but one of the big projects I did this year was Horus Heresy, so there's my Raven Guard. These models here were all 3D printed. This model's official Forge World. These are the official models from Forge World as well. And these Terminators are 3D printed, but everything else is official. That's a old school Forge World Spartan. That was my Raven Guard. Then we went on to my Emperor's Children. There's Forge World Cacophony, Mark IV Space Marines. That's the plastic Spartan from the box set. More Mark III Assault Marines. There's the Forge World. What are they? Those the Phoenix Guard. There's Eidolon. There's Forge World. Bleh, what's that called? That's the Dreadnought. I 3D printed these bikes and the Spartan and the Javelin. So that's them. These are the official. This is a 3D printed Dreadnought. This is a kit bashed one from the plastic kits. These are two official Forge World Leviathans. There's a Kraknos. There's my official Mark III Marines, but with 3D printed boarding shields. There's the Cataphractii from the box. There's Ferrus Manus. There's my custom Farios 30K model. So there's those ones. If I go in here, I did some true scale Terminators for Space Hulk. There's my Mechanicum that I've had in my basement for years and years. I finally got them done. They're just kind of crushed in there. There is one of my favorite things from last year was the Aeronef fleets. Brigade models. There's the British with some fighters and bombers. Here's the French. And then I did the Germans. Really nice models. Of course, I did the Battletech Ghost Bear, Comstar, a couple editions. I'm missing a model there for my Davians, the blue and red and white guys. And did some Merrick ones. These are my 3D printed Maddox miniature 7 Years War Austrians for sharp practice. Really nice models. They printed off exceptionally well and they painted and assembled really well. There's the Austrians. Of course, there's the Prussians, same group. I did the Solar Auxilia for one of the Kill Team box sets. I didn't like the Breachers, Imperial Breachers from that box set. They're nice models. I just liked these ones a lot more, so I had them. I did my Insurgent Force, the ISIS kind of models. I did my 10 Cowboys, first time I've ever painted a cowboy in my life. I did a little bit of my favorite period, which was World War I Japanese for the Broadside Kickstarter. I also did World War I French from War Games Atlantic. There's the Germans in the back. Of course, I did the Perry miniatures, War of the Roses. Now, they're all crushed in there pretty high, but there's a better video on them. I still have a few more bases of them to do. The flags are from Pete's Flags. Just PVA white glue in the middle, and I used pencils and sticks to make them curvy. Here's my Battlestar Galactica stuff. The last video I had was on these guys. My Battlestars, space stations. Here's the Super Heavy for the War Bearers. Still looks like a Blood Angel. Never got around to painting the black parts of it yet. I don't know if I'll even bother. Yeah, I'll go over here next. Show it off all that. There's my drop fleet. What are these guys called? The Scourge. Really cool ships. And now I'm going to have to pause the video and go around the other side of the table because I can't get good looks at the rest. Hold on. Okay, I repainted all my Babylon 5 stuff. So you got some Vorlon stuff. You got the Centauri, the Bakiri, the Drazi, a couple of Narn ships because I have a lot of them already painted. Redid the Minbari. There's the Earth Alliance stuff. All the Star Furies. More Earth Alliance. There's White Stars. There's the Vree. Some pirate ships right here. and then some civilian ships. And then I didn't really show these off very well, but these are the Drop Fleet Humans, or the UCM. There's the big ship back there. And they're all crammed in here, so there's a lot of ships there, but they're all, looks like one big ship. Then you have the little ones. I did some Adeptus Titanicus terrain, defense terrain. And I'm going to have to edit you out again while I go into that side of the table. One sec. Okay, after squeezing in past there's not a lot of room in between me and the wall. But I did the terrain for that Kill Team box set, whatever it was called. Actually took a lot of time, to be honest, so that's why I'm definitely counting this as one miniature, even though it took me an hour to do. I did some Bolt Action King Tiger, 2 IS-2s, Yag Tiger, KV-1, Martyr. I did the 3D printed ACW Naval. These are the laser cut MDF Macedonians. Here's the 3D printed Romans. Legio 6, Legio 8, Legio 1 Macedonia, Legio 1, Legio 3. These are for the Pharsalis Caesar versus Pompey. I did my Eldar, 8mm Eldar for essentially kind of epic. Now the bases look a little white there, or creamy, but there's all the units. There's the Titans I printed off. Warlock, a Phantom, and some Revenants. There's the Super Heavies back there. Here is my Star Wars stuff for the game me and my wife made, which was called It's a Trap. There's the Moncals. Now these ships are as to scale as we could get them. Star Destroyer. Liberator cruisers, Victory Star Destroyers. Then there was the Star Trek figures that I printed off and painted. I spent a long time on these guys. Rewatched Deep Space Nine a couple of times while I painted all this. Here's a battle cruiser back there for them. Here's some Romulan Warbird, Dominion battle cruisers, little Dominion mass attack ships. Can I get a better angle there, I think? Yeah. Oh, squeezing. Here's the battleship, the Dominion, some Cardassians, obviously some Klingons. And then I did the Adeptus Mechanicum, or no, not the Adeptus, the Mechanicum for the Horus Heresy game that I play. Lots of red there, I know. The Kraknos. All 3D printed by myself. And that's essentially it. Like I said, just under 3,300 figures. I am going to promise myself right now that I'm not going to paint this much for next year, or for this year, I guess. Just can't do it. But like I said before earlier, the amount of painting I do is based on the stress level that I'm at, so who knows. We still have one more year left on our low mortgage rate for the house, and then next year after that, don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching. Happy New Year, everyone. I appreciate everyone who watches the videos and comments. I don't reply to the comments very often, not because I don't want to, but my computer that I do all my stuff on, it's basically our TV box, essentially. So the kids watching TV, wife's watching TV or something, it's hard to get time to log in and read the comments. I read them all, but it's hard to get in to read the comments and reply. People ask me where I get the gaming mat from, or how did I do this or do that. That's something I need to concentrate on to remember back that far. Trying to remember where I bought these gaming mats is, I have no idea. I'd have to actually take all the models off of it and take the mat out to get the name of the back of it. But I'll get to all those. But again, I really appreciate your time. And like I said, don't be impressed. This is an illness. This isn't something to be proud of. And I was proud of it until I laid it all out in front of me, and now I'm kind of sick. But yeah, thanks for watching. Happy New Year, everyone. The first project for next year is going to be, I have to finish off the Battlestar Galactica stuff. That'll only take me a week or so. But then after that, it's 12mm Victrix World War II figures. I want to get back into Horus Heresy. I still have the Solar Auxilia Force to do. That's all printed off and ready to go. I actually bought the Adeptus or Aeronautica Imperialis. What was it called? The fighters for that the other day. So they're here now, ready to go. I want to do some more Adeptus Titanicus Titans. I have a whole new Legio Ataris that I want to get done. I want to finish the last few pieces for the War of the Roses stuff. I think I'm done with the Horus Heresy. I have one more force to do, which is the... I go back and forth all the time between World Eaters and Thousand Suns, but I think it's going to be Thousand Suns. But that won't take me very long. That's more of an airbrush thing. What else do I have on the pipeline? I got something in the other day. What was it that I really wanted to get started on? I got some more Battletech stuff, but that's not a big deal. Oh yes, I want to get into Vietnam, 28mm plastic Vietnam figures from Rubicon. I want to get them in and painted next year. And then of course there's the stuff that I'm waiting on release. So I'm waiting on new Perry miniatures. I want those French 1870 French infantry. The plastic set. I have the Prussians. I've had them for like a year and a bit now, and I want the French. I can't start that project until I have everything. And then, oh yes, I have the Drop Fleet Commander, what are the bony white guys called? The Cyborgs. UCM, Scourge, and whatever the third faction is, not the Resistance. But yeah, there's that. And that's it. Well, we'll update you as we go along, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.